Pro Boxing fans here with Sonny Edwards. We're here in Sheffield for your brother's open workout. Sonny, let's have a quick word on the Gallardo win first. Unanimous points win victory for you. Talk to me about it. How do you feel in there? How do you feel you performed?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was my finest performance so far. But I think a lot of people, because the scorecard was wide and there wasn't too many times I was in any sort of trouble, they sort of switched off to the fact of how kind of dangerous Gallardo was. He wasn't the biggest knockout puncher, but he was very physically strong and he wanted to get me. Every second of every round, he was trying to get me. Do you know what I mean? So watching it back, it looked kind of easy. There was a few like scrappy rounds where I won the rounds on clean shot, but he was doing a good job of negating a lot of what I was trying to do, coming in with his head low and that. So I did what I had to do, and that's a win. And I feel I still put in a good enough performance where I got good praise. You know what I mean, like stuff like I was trending on Twitter. There was a lot of like good support behind it. I mean, you get the occasional like, oh, I'm not going to watch him fight. It's boring. Like I don't know what people want from me. Do you know what I mean? I try and put in as much a show I can without, getting rid of any percentages of possibility of me winning. So.
Social media is open. It's an interesting thing because it's opened up this avenue for people to actually praise and criticise sportsmen and fighters.
Oh, of course.
And like you've just made reference to, talk to me about how do you deal with the naysayers? Because you obviously heard that some people weren't happy with the performance, so you do read it.
Do you know what? I'm very quite strong-minded, and I don't really care. My manager told me this. He was like, create the hype, never believe it. Do you know what I mean? So just because someone's bigging you up or slagging you off, it don't matter. You know in yourself where you are at, where you're going, and just focus on that. I have a laugh for a lot of them. I reply to a lot of them. I'm quite outspoken more because when I'm in camp, I don't work, I don't do anything else. I'm bored, so for me it's a bit of back and forth. I like it. Do you know what I mean? If someone's going to take time out of their day to speak about me, I don't think I ever crossed the line of being absolutely brash or like horrible or do you know what I mean, disrespectful, but I'm quite a cheeky person, in and out of the ring, in and out of boxing, so I just bring my sense of humour, my personality with it. Look, if someone wants to sit there and slag me off, albeit I'm not asked, I think in this day and age you really have to be quite thick-skinned, like you have to be, and for me it just sort of bounces off me. I don't block anyone, I never block anyone, even if I've got people that have been giving me stick for as long as I've been a pro, or even longer than that, do you know what I mean? I'm not too asked.
Do you subscribe to the thought that the closer you get to the fight, obviously the more focus you're going to get, but do you shut off your social media when you get in fight week, or it's not something you're bothered about?
Not really. I think as far as a business head on my shoulders, the most engagement you get is on the build up to a fight night, and then a few days after, the week after. So if you just completely cut yourself off and didn't have someone running it or something, then you're losing out on a lot of potential growth. I mean, that's speaking on a very marketing type person head, but I probably wouldn't use social media that much at all if it wasn't for boxing. Like most of it's just boxing. You have my son there as well. My private life is very private. People don't all know too much about me, how I like it. But yeah, it's a big thing. Potential sponsors, profile, TV, just everything. Appearances. Having a good social media presence is only beneficial, do you know what I mean?
It's quite interesting because we often hear that Twitter is a pain because of the criticism and people sat on their sofas criticising that sort of stuff. You're saying here actually it's almost essential to being a popular fighter these days that you need to have an active social media.
For every 10 people that slagging me off at the worst of times, there's 10 people that supporting me, and it's if there's some sort of discussion, do you know what I mean? As long as I'm not slapping babies or headbutting old women walking around the street and there's videos and that, then my opinion on that, if someone asks me my opinion, if you ask my opinion on something, I'll give it. My opinion don't matter to anyone else. If it does, then there's a reason why they're so heavily invested in caring about what I think. And I've always been like that. If someone asks my opinion on a fight or something, I don't just tend to give my opinion out too much. Obviously on social media people are following you, so they're expecting a certain amount of response to certain things. But if someone asks my opinion, I'll give it, and I don't really seem to the need to make it so politically correct. And
right, so let's ask your opinion on Hugo Rosendo Granero for the IBF international title. What do we know about this guy? What are you expecting from him?
Tough 10 rounds, coming forward, firing bombs. I'll tell you honestly now, I'll be surprised if I stopped him. I think the smart better's money would be a wide point. Just the way my other fighters are gone, when I got someone tough in front of me, someone could be physically stronger than me, punch a lot harder than me, but what I bring to the table isn't my punch power or my devastating knockouts. I bring out, I'm very hard to hit, I'm very fit, I've got a good engine, I've got a very good brain, I can adapt, I can change my style 6-7 times in a fight. I switch from orthodox southpaw, I don't get hit all too much. None of my fights have come out marked up, do you know what I mean? So he's looking to come to win, same as his other countrymen have come over to fought me, and they'll come to look to throw heavy punches, and that's what I'm expecting.
When I spoke to you in the build up to your last fight, you said that your management company want to slow you down a little bit, your promotional company want to get you that world title shot. What do you think the likelihood of you fighting for a world title is going to be in your next fight?
Unlikely.
Should you come through?
Yeah, unlikely, because I really have to. I'm 4th for WBO at Superflyer. I'm going down to flyweight to push for the world titles now. If any domestic big fights come up, I will straight away sidetrack back to them and then go back on the route, because I'm that confident in winning them. I'm not like, I'm past British level, I still want to fight at British level. If no one wants to fight me at British level, I'll keep climbing the world rankings until I get my shot. Like I said, my contract's set up in a way that my management would rather me take a few easier fights, a few slower fights, but they also understand my ambition, that I just want to keep going forward. I don't want to take a backward step, whether it's financial reasons or contractual reasons or whatever. So I've got to find a balance, but all I know is I'm keeping my management team happy, I'm keeping my promoters happy, and my TV platform BT are making me headline of good like sort of domestic cards. So I'm in a good place. I've got to now just do what I have been doing, and when I get under the lights, perform. And I think every single TV fight I've had, my last 4, this will be my 5th, I've performed well on every single one and had good plaudits. You know, Farag was my coming of age, and a lot of feedback for that. Granados also, even though I went down, I got up and tore 2 ligaments in my ankle and still pushed on and won every round. Pedro Matos, come back from injury, still a tough fight, and I sort of dissected him and got him out of there. And then Gallardo, non-stop coming, and I just showed my skills and my engine. You know, at ringside you had fighters like Tyson Fury sat there, was impressed. Obviously, David Hay spoke in the post-fight interview about how impressed he was. I'm impressing the right people and turning the right heads. And as long as I keep the momentum I'm going at, then I should have a massive platform for when I do get to these world title fights. It will be big events, you know what I mean?
Next Saturday, your brother Charlie defends his world title again on another big platform, on a big card, August 31st, O2 Arena, Campbell Lomachenko. When you see your brother defending his world title, that can only serve as inspiration, I presume.
Of course, me and my brother are very close. And I've seen everything he's taken to get to this point in his life. Like, I've been there, we lived together, like, you know what I mean, we've laughed together, we've cried together, everything. So I know how hard it's been for him at times, at certain times, not even that long ago, do you know what I mean? I mean, before he moved up here, before he moved to Grant, he was in a really, really bad place, you know what I mean? He didn't have that much money to his name, expensive living in London, he weren't getting opportunities, and he just fell out of love with the game. And moving to Grant has been the best thing that's happened. In 9 months he won a world title, 12 months he defended it, 15 months he defended it again, you know what I mean? So
I just want to finish up, Sonny, by saying obviously you're close to your brother, as you just explained, you're both heading in the same sort of direction, obviously with different promotional outlets. How sort of, not annoyed, it's not the right word, but how much would you like to be on the same card as your brother? Would that be a dream come true if you could both be performing on the same card?
I mean, at some stage of the career it would be nice to do, to make today we don't. I don't think we've ever, when I was about 12 or 13 we boxed on the same amateur show. But it just makes another level, because when I go to his fights, I'm not on edge, not on nerves, but I feel a way about it because he's fighting. Yeah. So mixing me into that, I don't think it'd be anything we wouldn't be able to handle, but it's still another layer. You know what I mean? One of us fighting first, what if we lose, and then the second one's going to
Smith brother had it before, I think. Steve Smith.
Of course, and right now, obviously, I'm with BT Frank Warren. He's with Eddie Hearn Sky. You know what I mean? We get ringside tickets to all the shows, domestically, so we're in a good place. And I've had a good backing from BT now, and I'm so happy to be on their platform. The way my career is just upward trajectory of my profile, my exposure, the support they're giving me, why am I going to complain? A lot of people are like, why are you not with Eddie Hearn and why are you not with Matchroom? Because I'm enjoying myself, do you know what I mean? And I'm a very loyal person, so until there comes a point where either they don't want me no more, or they don't treat me right, or I'm not just going to look for the grass is greener when my garden's going pretty over here, do you know what I mean? It's a really good setup what I've got right now. MTK pushing me in the right direction, Frank Warren loving that I'm like their main flyweight, super flyweight, getting me on. Every 8 weeks I'm fighting. The only time I didn't is when I got injured, and I was meant to box on the 8th of March, Albert Hall, didn't, and boxed 6 weeks later. So I've been on every single London show. I was meant to box on the 21st until we got split, and I was given a choice whether I wanted to go on 27th for this, but then they made me headline, so obviously that made my choice for me. So I'm in a great place, and I'll be out before, win this, come through, all nice, touch wood, and I'll be boxing before the end of the year, nice and busy, earning good money and getting that good promotion, because you need promotion as well. It's worth its weight in gold.
Frank Warren, BT Sport, MTK Global, there's worse played positions to be in.
Much.
Sonny Edwards, thank you for being the Pro Boxing fans. Best of luck September.
Thanks.
Cheers, pal.